back again. Clicked in, same crew, same friends. DJ Cryptomatic in the chair. Papa Boner, we on air. Hey, 4 years, same thumbnail picture. Chat scrolls fast as the crew rolls richer. Late nights, charge bright. Pulsechain dreams on a budget life. I was lost in a sea of maybe. Found this show, now the game don't faze me. What the hex? We've been here a minute. Same bad jokes, new blocks every visit. Hey, you guys, it's yellow with the fam. Click that link, let it run, let it jam. What the heck? From the first Swiss stream to a pulse chain pop in a bull run dream. We don't flex, we just press go live. What the hex? What the hex? We thrive. Treasure reminders, replay crew in the comments laughing. I was right here when that clip was captured. Timestamp legends, inside mentions, OGs teaching all the fresh extensions. Toby won the technical banana, this is guru. Fractals on display, showing the way. Peter from Slovakia, frustration in the mix, but we push through, no time for tricks. What the heck? We've been here a minute. Bad jokes, new blocks every visit. Hey, you guys, it's yellow with the fam. Click that link, let it run, let it jam. What the heck? From the first weird stream to a post chain pop in a bull run dream. We don't flex, we just press go live. What the heck? What the heck? We thrive. We live. Hey, you guys, is it? Ultra slow on that final beat. Crew forever, can't be beat. What the hex? Yeah, that's our call. Pulsechain family, we stand tall. Prove X, what the hex?
What the hex is you guys talking about?
Good morning, you guys. When Bob's.
What the hex is going on, ladies and gentlemen?
With that being said, how about some positive news, guys?
Waiting.
Bro, we had the
Man, I tell you what, it's like 5 years, 5 years of uptime, right?
Sentiment.
Think about it, 5 years of uptime.
Queridos amigos de Cuba, les habla su presidente, el presidente Trumpo. Actually, right now, I'm not your presidente per se, but if you think about it, why not?
What the heck?
Elon, so you're a trillionaire now, huh? That's pretty good.
It's like, it seems like insanely obvious.
It is, like a trillionaire. Like a billionaire is a millionaire 1,000 times over. In a trillionaire, you're like 1,000 billionaires all in one person, or a million millionaires.
That sounds great.
What do you even do with your hands when you're a trillionaire?
Look, these watches, I don't have a watch addiction. I bought them tactically. They're the highest value things I could have on my live stream that I could fit in the studio. It's really not a studio, it's my office, but like, I guess it's a studio. I mean, my lights are just a chandelier. I don't really have like production lights here. I do have an actual studio with production lights over there. I never use it. I just sit in my office here. If people don't see it, they don't believe it.
You know, at this point, friends, since nothing has worked for crypto in the past 5 years, and it feels like a massive scam, it would be really funny if they hike interest rates and we start pumping. That would be the total disbelief move. It just makes no sense, and we just... But you know, crypto, it's the world of opposites. When everyone wanted to kill us and take us to zero, we pumped the hardest. When they wanted to ban us, we pumped the hardest. When all you could use crypto for was literally just drugs on the internet, we pumped the hardest. Then we bring in regulation, dog shit. The president likes you, dog shit. ETFs, dog shit. Michael Saylor accumulates 800,000 Bitcoin on Ponzi leverage, dog shit.
Okay, I'm getting ready and I'm definitely wearing this today. I love it, but it's a little too long. I think I'm just gonna peg it. There. Perfect. I'm obsessed. I'm wearing this.
Well, hello, by pressure.
Har. Har. Heart, mate. Heart. Heart.
Guys, no one is talking about OnlyFans. A lot of crypto people, a lot of AI people, a lot of drop shipping people, a lot of e-commerce people. A lot of people are making crazy money from their bedrooms, by the way. So streamers, I don't know, other people. So get your head out of the gutter. Because actually, I've met a lot of OnlyFans girl, and I don't know, guys, like you might see like the Sophie Reigns of the world in the, I don't know who else, but they're not really making that much money. Like you can make more money in crypto right now, trading, perps, memes, holding. I mean, buying and holding. Anyway, get your head out of the gutter. What?
What the hex?
What the hex?
Indeed. What the hex?
What the hex? FastAbdoul, welcome to the show.
Welcome, welcome.
Thank you.
You live in the woods now. That's new.
I live in the woods.
What happened?
I had to downsize a little bit so I could DCA more into Pulsechain. You know, I saw these prices and I was like, I can't afford to have a house. I need to put it all into Hex and
That's
Pulse
the
and
spirit.
Pulse X.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Are you sitting or squatting out there?
I've manufactured myself a chair out of birch. It's you know, and poplar. It's quite high end. So yeah.
Nice.
Sitting.
He's a lumberjack and he's okay.
All right.
He shits in the woods all day.
How long has it been since we've seen you, Mr. Abdul?
Well, it must be good 6 months since we did that last show.
Yeah, I want to say 6 to 8
Feels like
months.
in that range.
Yeah.
Feels like too long. Too long.
There's been some changes since then.
Yeah, there have been changes. I've been gone. I'm back.
Oh, good. Yeah.
So thank you, Papa B and Peter for rocking it out here the last 2 weeks. Mixed bag of reviews, I have to say. Like we had comments that said, "Oh, we like it better when Peter is in charge because the intro is much shorter." And that's a fair point.
Yeah.
Because all I live for is the intro.
Well,
but then other people said, "Oh, we're not watching the two from the Muppet Show," so we got that as well.
But some people just prefer like angry Eastern European guys, right? Like that could be a preference.
Peter is our foil. He's definitely the edge of our show.
Absolutely.
The negatory. So, you know, without him, we're just too positive.
Can't control Peter.
I'll try to bring in some negativity. You know, we'll balance it out. It'll be fine.
Okay, thank you. We knew we could count on you. Oh my gosh, look how young we were on the 5th anniversary. I feel like I've aged like years since then. So that's why I thought it's been
You
a long
streamed
time.
with Richard Hard, with the main man.
Yep,
that was a
it
while
has been
ago.
years.
Yes.
Yes, 5 years ago. Pretty much.
Were you also on that Brady Bunch slide extravaganza with Richard in the center in the Alice spot?
I've never been on the screen with Richard at the same time. That was before my time. I'm the new guy.
Then maybe you are Richard Hart.
Possible, you know. I think that would
so
take.
You're the African priest.
It would take a bunch of surgery, but many things are possible these days.
Can you pump our bags, please? Can't you do something?
Yeah, no kidding. Can the dev do something? I think the African priests will probably pump our bags at some point, but I've been told we shouldn't have expectations. But people do have expectations. It's it's normal.
Yeah, but what happened here? Like, so this is the Pulsechain chart. So 2 weeks ago when I left, we were up here just chilling, and then all hell broke loose.
Yes.
But also in the week after, we recovered. We round tripped the whole dip. They call it the V.
No,
I think we had one or two whales who exited it on that, right?
Oh, do tell.
Yes.
What I heard was Conrad Zen like moved out of a whole bunch of HEX, and as far as I know, it could have been other assets as well. So I think that was the big HEX dip at that time.
Yes.
And then of course on Pulsechain, everything is very connected by liquidity. So it's if HEX goes down by 20%, then Pulse is going to go down by 10%. It's all connected. So, but yeah, I think Conrad Zen was the big known seller that I heard of.
I didn't even know he had that much. It was like a billion HEX, which is crazy.
Because he invested $1 million into the actual ecosystem at the beginning. Far too many tokens for somebody that was such. He was like a proto vampire in our community. Remember, with his bullshittery.
The tax token, which is a night. I had that once. It's a nightmare to buy, and you can't sell it really, and you can't move it between wallets. And now he is shilling this again, like it's the next best thing.
Never trust it's a Conrad.
I appreciate his work ethic, and guys, tax tokens have had a new life on Pulsechain. Like I think because of the low fees on Pulsechain. And obviously the engaged community, like we've had some tax tokens that have done fairly well. So, I know Richard pushed that all tax tokens go to 0, and that could still be true, but like evidence to the contrary on Pulsechain at the moment. So I'm not speaking about anyone in particular, but like, they've had their run and some of them are still going. So, I think there are problems. There's been some solutions, like people have done things with the tech to make them a little more versatile, but all the things you talked about, like you get charged to transfer between wallets and that sort of thing, like that's all the case. So we'll see how it turns out long term. But short term, like, Pulsechain's done better with tax tokens than any other chain I know of.
But he's now out there on the X promoting, we're up 20% in PZN, but when you zoom out, like it's still,
Dude, when you have to take off that tax when you calculate how much you're up, right? Because like up 20%, but there's a 6% sell tax. Okay, you're up 14%. Plus your slippage on top of that, because that's just how it works.
I hope he slippages and falls.
That's not
kind. My understanding from what I read from the sidelines was that he tried to pull a crypto Sparbuch move, kind of try to force a reaction from Richard by doing this crazy dumping. But from history, we know that never works. Like he's never Richard is not the guy to respond to anything like that.
No blackmail, no shaking of trees, no leverage of any kind. That he does not respond.
Zero. He don't.
Yeah, the blackmail and demands have always worked poorly with him.
Well,
I've
he
seen
doesn't
a couple
negotiate.
Demands that he doesn't.
He doesn't negotiate with terrorists.
Nope.
No. And so far, he has been right not to do that. So,
from another perspective, like if I was Richard, I'd be happy when a bigger whale like that gets out, right? Because like that, if he sold now, it means he can't sell at a 30x, right? So like you have a couple of big whales that get out at the bottom like that, and suddenly the chain is easier to pump and to stay up because you don't have that giant sell pressure. You're always going to have sell pressure, but a bunch of people who get a 30x on $1,000 versus one guy who gets a 30x on $1 million is, a way different tactical situation.
And, now it's estimated that at the top, his portfolio was worth something like $800 million on paper. And then as he was dumping now at these lows against himself with all the slippage and everything else, he's only clearing less than 4 total of everything that he's had. So he's getting like a 4x. All right, that's respectable for a 71-year-old man. But I mean, still, you could have done things a lot better. And not hitting the fucking market sell is something that this old kook has never fucking learned. Why don't they learn, FastAbdoul? Why don't they learn how to
Yeah, Conrad, if you're watching, reach out and I will teach you how to, use V3 and do other things to avoid giant slippage. Watch out for scammers. I will not DM you, but there's definitely better ways to do it. Though, like, he did make a splash, and to his credit, my understanding, and I haven't looked into this because I'm not really engaged with that product, but I think he used a lot of the funds to pump his own product. So
He did.
Hey, respect for that, I suppose.
But that got dumped down too.
Of course.
It was a zigga.
Yeah. which is a great case study that maybe Richard Hart could compare, right? Like that singular burst of pumping did not result in a sustained price, right?
I think it's the tail wagging the dog. Fast. I think that he should have looked at Richard's efforts, or supposedly the African priest's efforts. How like $40 million put in at $250,000 intervals just is not where the whole game is won, so he learns nothing from history. Obviously Conrad Zen has never been a great scholar in historical things when he copy pasted his stuff or launched a stupid token or whatever. Lots of missteps.
He doesn't seem very technically oriented, right? Like, there's definitely, I remember when he launched his token, there were some issues that like clearly he didn't understand, which is fine. Like there's a learning curve, but like, I think the moral of the story here, and something that Richard talks about a lot, is like, if you don't have anonymity, and you have those big wallets that people are watching, like there's sharks out there that will plan accordingly. Right. Yeah. And I think some of Richard's efforts, with things like ProveX, are, and just how he talks about, freedom of speech and anonymity in crypto. I think that, that could be part of the story here, because like you could pump the chain with like 10,000 $1,000 buys if you could do it privately, and people would not be able to front run that in the same way they front run a $250,000 buy or a $2 million buy, right? Like I think that secrecy is probably the key to keeping something up long term, is not giving the sharks a target.
That would be nice. And he mentions that ProveX can help with all that in a few of his recent tweets. So maybe he's building
potentially.
What he's doing is maybe building up a story there right now. I with Conrad, I just don't appreciate the betrayal, because he's been here since day one, and he back in the day in 2019, he had 3 streams a week. He funded marketing. He did all kinds of stuff and built a following from the Hex community. And then to market dump like that, that's just super disappointing, like, especially at his age, where we always say the young guys, okay, they don't know better, but he should really know better. So that is very
you've got several limit order options now, and then V3 and all these other things that we've all tried to instill within the community's psyche. And
he tried to get a reaction from Richard, but
this was definitely something where he wanted to, look at me, I'm powerful, like every other stupid whale that does this game. And Richard just doesn't take the bait, man.
And your power is gone now. If you were powerful, but you dumped your bag, you are now no longer powerful in, our group, right? Like that was the limit of the power, was like, how much hex are you holding? And if it's 0, then, that's the level of your current power.
Did he get rid of all of it, or is he still hanging on to several? I think he's got like 200 million or 300 million left or something.
Yeah, that's nothing by comparison. Honestly, I'm not into the wallet watching. Like I'm capable, but I refuse to spend much time doing that unless there's a very specific thing. Like, I don't begrudge anybody for selling something that's theirs. I think that's people have to understand that. But
that is such a red herring argument. I don't want to hear that from anyone. It's the way that you dump. That's the only way that I would judge you. If you do it, effectively and the right way, which is, just calculate it out or do the limit orders now that we have, or V3, like you said, then all the respect in the world. Go with God. You won. But if you fucking market dump because you're a pussy and you sell against yourself, eat slippage and kill the chart, then you're a fucking moron.
I mean, if
it's
we look
kind
at
of a dumbass move because literally, like in the course of 24 hours, I probably could have saved that guy 15% of his of what he lost that day, right?
Yeah.
Like
Sure.
there like a couple steps. But like if people don't have the technical skills and they're scared and like they don't want to reach out for help because like the places like crypto is full of scammers. It's very hard to know who to trust for information if you're not capable of picking up that skill level by yourself. So I don't know, I give people some leeway on that. It's not everybody is as equipped as us three to learn the ins and outs of the details of DeFi.
But he's been here the same amount of time, god damn it.
That's it. And PHEX, I mean, that's all his dumping here. That's the PX chart that nicely recovered. We even clipped off a 0 for a hot minute a few days ago. Now we're dumped again under it. It's 3 zeros and a 9.6. But to be fair, the whole market has dumped today, including SpaceX, which is the story. But then again, on HEX, not so much a recovery. So really, PHEX seems to be where it's happening at the moment. FastAbdoul, where do you see Pulsechain at the moment? How do you keep yourself motivated, and where do you think, are we on the cusp of breaking out to higher highs finally, or do you think it will still take whatever?
Yeah, I've been thinking about doing a State of the Union statement for Pulsechain, and like it's really kind of a mixed bag, right? Like I would love to say that we're on the edge of greatness, but we've been saying that for 5 years now. So it's like there's a lot of factors, and like I think like a reasonable person looks at Richard, looks at his like most recent actions versus previous actions, and says like, okay, we're probably closer. He's more active. He's launching new products. There's all these kinds of things. The legal situation has changed in that he's no longer listed on Europol. He's still listed on Interpol. One of the two charges was dropped. So like it's like his legal profile is getting better. Realistically, I don't think we're going to see Richard at his old streaming levels until like that red notice disappears. So I refresh that on my computer every day. As of this morning, it was still there.
Yeah,
so I
that's the last obstacle. Sort of.
I do it every 15 minutes.
There we go. Yeah, I could build a bot for that. But like that, I think that's one of the main indicators for me. Is like, is the red notice still there? I think when it disappears, some people, not financial advice, might do well if they backed up the truck. Do we go up and down between now and then? Like it's anybody's guess. Obviously, we're connected to the market. The community is exhausted, right? Our influencers are disappearing, right?
Yep.
Like, as you guys know, I don't do my own channel. I float around to other people's channels, and my opportunities have decreased, right? Like, I don't have as many options as I did, a year ago, 2 years ago, for where I could go.
So what you're saying is you're scraping the bottom of the barrel and slumming it with us on What the Hex. Thank you.
We have 50,
no problem.
50 people watching live right now.
50 whole
beggars
people.
Can't be choosers, If this is all you can get, then this is where you got to go.
Get out of here. But one of your specialties has been in floating around other communities, spaces and streams. Are you still doing that with the Solana guys and all that?
I've been a little quieter on that, and I was never really super huge in getting into Solana spaces and stuff. I have done some, and I interact with some guys. I interact with people from different communities, and it's still a thing. I kind of need some news though. Like when you go into these other communities, you want to be able to say like, hey, look at this, right? And there's only so long you can be like, hey, look at these red candles, you should buy. I think, like I'll take another run at the Solana boys, after a couple green candles, and we can start selling that again.
That's good. Let me interrupt. Let me say hi to the chat real quick. I mean, it's 18 people on YouTube. I probably have met all of them in person. So
nice.
We got Checks My Pulse first. We actually streamed with Checks My Pulse. Thank you for the intro music. Maddie Lambo, Maddie Lambo.
Maddie's my homie over here. Yeah,
that's your homie. Money took shish in the building. Good to see you. We got Hex Wizard 369 in the house. Alan Fizzamay. Oh, look, it's a stream. Yeah, I don't think there has been a Creed of Crypto show this week even. So it's us, guys. It's us.
Oh. But wait, you know what? I saw Saint Wolf did a stream.
Oh yeah, he did. That's true. And Wild as J also did something on the weekend with a pirate hopping around in the background.
I wish I remembered his name. I can't remember his name.
But everybody's hard at work at the Hive in
Crypto
Southern
7's been streaming pretty regular too.
As
well as RH Max is getting out there.
RH Max did one. That's true.
Crypto 7, friend of the show. We have to shout him out. He got abused by Peter for some reason. I don't know.
You pissed him off again.
Not me.
Shocking. But you try to fix it at the end. I appreciate that. Believe in Yourself is here. Andre 369. Brizology. How do I start an OnlyFans?
I'm your OnlyFans, so you're done.
Cabana Crypto. When happy hour, sir?
Oh.
Diversify is here. Good to see you. DJ and Dougie, the real question is when Bob's? Exactly. And that's it. Well, thanks for tuning in. Hex on Air, holding down for it over on the Twitch side of things. So, that's a live ground. FastAbdoul.
So FastAbdoul,
but he evaded the questions. When pump?
When pump, but hold on, before we ask that question, because that's a very important question to be answered.
Super important.
I also want to know, are you traveling or are you squatting in the woods like the rest of us?
I'm between homes at the moment, you could say.
Exactly.
Sure. So I'm not at one of my homes. I literally just made myself a chair out of pieces of poplar. So
Nice.
I'm in the woods.
That's a popular option, by the way.
I mean, speaking of that, they say this is called. I don't know if you guys can see this. This is called a Canadian well, and I call bullshit on that.
I can't see it well.
What was it? Let me see if I can.
You can't see it well, but it's not a well.
So they say that in Canada they dig a channel from the house, and then they have this pipe in the woods, and in the winter that heats your house, and in the summer it cools it down.
But you're a resident Canadian, so can you corroborate this?
That cannot be possible.
We have geothermal energy, which other places do too. It wouldn't look exactly like that, but basically the concept is you dig down deep enough, and then you run a horizontal pipe. And the temperature inside that pipe will reflect as hotter or cooler than the temperature outside. And then you use the difference to heat your house, basically. So if you have enough geothermal pipe set up, you can heat a house. And this is not a Canadian technology. It's just technology. So, but yeah, there's nothing special. We don't use logs to do it. And the truth is, very, very few people do that. It's pretty expensive, and we have lots of natural gas, which is generally speaking a way cheaper and faster option to heat your house. And it's minus 50 degrees here in the winter, so
oh god,
yeah, you need real heat, not hippie heat.
Yeah, I'm wondering. The Canadian version has arrows that go through the pipe. Are those pointy when it comes up to your toilet? The arrow movement looks a little bit.
That's why Brizology says it's great until a raccoon dies in that.
I don't think we're drawing from trees directly. So there's very little raccoon interaction with my toilet on a regular day.
Right.
So I do have, arrows and crossbow bolts and such around my house, but yeah, very rarely are they involved with my plumbing or heating systems unless something's gone terribly wrong.
So this is false right here that we're looking at. Awesome. Thank you for disproving it. Wind pump.
Wind pump out of the well.
Out of the well.
Yep.
Wind pump. That's the next
let's
question.
look at the particulars. We're like, why have we not pumped?
Red notice.
Why hasn't pumped happened already? And what would allow us to pump in the future, right? So if we can answer those two questions, we might be able to identify when pump. So why haven't we pumped already? Well, I think it's to do with that red notice, and it's to do with not a substantial amount of the SAC funds being inserted on chain. I think those are two major indicators that have pushed away some people, right? And the lack of the red notice is connected to the lack of Richard's screen presence, even though there's been some with pre-recorded things, which I think is that could be a 50% indicator. Is like Richard's not on the screen, price go down 50%. I think that's totally possible. So red notice goes away. That could be like part of the when pump answer. The other thing is we know that a lot of the SAC funds turned into Ethereum, and Ethereum's not looking super hot right now. It looks better than a lot of things, but like if you start seeing a $4,000, $6,000 Ethereum, I would say that just by the math, a pump could be nigh, based on old numbers now. But a $6,000 Ethereum puts the SAC bag to $1 billion. Right, last time I looked at it. So a lot of that's gone through Tornado Cash now. We don't know where it is, but the old numbers I used to do math of, that equaled $1 billion. So 6,000 is 1 billion, 12,000 is 2 billion. If we can get $18,000 Ethereum, that's a $3 billion SAC bag. And, any portion of $1 billion would do very substantial things to the price on Pulsechain, based on our current liquidity profile. So, I'm looking for a 4,000 plus ETH, preferably 6,000 plus ETH. I'm looking for a red notice to be gone. And I would say that if those two things happen, pump is nigh.
Okay,
Nice.
so that's a good analysis.
It's very good.
Can we talk about the factors that would be conducive to a pump in Ethereum? For example, what geopolitical headwinds do you see? What interest rates in the last meeting, which was yesterday or the day before, Warsh says basically he's holding the current rates at where they are, and there's even a little bit of scuttlebutt that they could actually raise a quarter point.
Yeah, it was close to being raised.
Yeah, it could be raised this within 2026, but 2027 we could start to see some easing. So what do you reckon in terms of the cycle, these geopolitical headwinds for Ethereum?
I'm not much of a macro guy, when it comes to that stuff. I'm certainly aware of it and I look at it, but it never seems to make as big an impact as I think it will. But on the tech side, I can see that Ethereum is the world's main home for DeFi. And especially when we start to talk about, tokenized things that are real. Right, tokenized real assets. Ethereum seems to be the only home for that stuff practically. So, as we have more things like the stock market moving into crypto, there's more tokenized options there. Eventually, I think all the stock market will be available in crypto. When we hit, those kind of benchmarks, I think Ethereum is going to be the main receiver of those technologies, and it will have a substantial impact on the price. So I would put those at the biggest single items. Would be the technology coming in that allows more tokenized assets to be in crypto, which will mostly be on Ethereum, and that will pump the price. As far as the interest rate going up or down by 5%, I don't know. I used to think maybe that was the answer, and Somi talks about that kind of stuff a lot. I'm not sure it's the answer anymore. I think we need the tech to save us.
But he talks about aliens too, so.
Also aliens and fictional stable coins.
Yeah. And so hold on a second. Ethereum is supposedly going to get some real big improvements pretty soon. Speed and decentralization and anonymity. What do you think of those upgrades that are supposed to be coming out shortly?
I think generally speaking, I don't like, for the majority of current purposes, speed is not really an issue. For the past couple of years, cost per transaction has mostly not been an issue. Like, like I do a lot of Ethereum transactions for 30 cents these days, and if I have to pay $4, that's a busy day. Like, you guys probably remember, and you might have paid $400 for a transaction on Ethereum in the past.
A failed transaction, yes.
Exactly. Yeah. To buy like a kitty NFT or something.
Yes.
Which doesn't seem to be the case anymore. So,
no.
I think when we look at those upgrades, are they going to change it? Not so much. We've already had a big upgrade that I think was most connected to the tech that matters, which was allowing people to run validators that had way more ETH in them. It was like, it used to be 32 ETH and now it's 1600 ETH or something like that, which is something that appeals to, larger business organizations that are getting into crypto. So, we have that. If the price goes down per transaction, does that make the price of Ethereum go up? I don't see why. If it's a little bit faster, does that make the price go up? I don't see why. Unless new use cases come out that require those things, I think they're nice to have, but not necessary.
I mean, the tokenizing of stocks, that could be a story, especially for Ethereum, if that gets more adopted. We kind of had a bit of a taste of this with the SpaceX IPO launch, which is, of course, the other big story that went live on the Nasdaq last Friday. IPO price, I believe, is 139, and it pumped all the way like a shit coin. It pumped to $220, which is very unusual for a stock to do that. Now
it's usual. It's usual.
Yeah,
before the unlock. Yeah,
it seems usual. And then it corrected ever since Monday, is now down to 183. And a lot of people in crypto say that because crypto is not moving at the moment as it used to, has to do with this, that liquidity sort of was taken away out of Bitcoin, Ethereum, to be able to play or be able to be a part of this IPO. Do you think there is a connection, or is that just
I'm sure there's a connection, right? Because like SpaceX is connected to Elon is connected to crypto. So like, did some people dump their Bitcoin to go buy SpaceX? Like, sure. But like, did they already dump their SpaceX and buy their Bitcoin back? Probably half of them, right? Like, it's, if we're talking speculation, that money moves pretty fast, and most people lose out in the process.
Pretty fast, Abdul.
Indeed.
if they're not fast. And we also had a drawdown in validators on Pulsechain, which I think is sort of significant. It's now down to 46,000. I mean, it's still 46,800 validators, but we were always above 50, for the last 2 years. So that is also a bit weird to me that it's now.
We're still amongst the most decentralized chains with 46,000 validators. That I think people don't understand how cheap it is to be a validator right now. Like it costs 32 million pulse, and they don't understand how easy it is. And large disclaimer, it's not easy to be a validator in a regular way, but we have 2 liquid staked pulse protocols on Pulsechain that do make it easy for you. There's UPulse by the Up and Up X team, and there's VPulse by Jexa with his slip in my mind. What's his protocol called?
Vouch.
There we go. Yeah, and VPulse and UPulse, basically you can buy those or mint them via the protocol front ends, and you're running a validator without having to run a validator, right?
Right.
And it's a very mathematically beneficial way, and a technologically simple way to almost make exactly as much as you'd make being a validator yourself with much, much lower risk.
Very good. I think that's the alpha for the show, like, because prices are so low, validating And also, if you want to launch your own coin on Pump That Tires, if you ever wanted to do that, right now is really the time to get it through, to graduate, because it's so cheap right now. That's really the
That is
two
true.
things people should not be missing out on before your battery completely dies. And we appreciate you making the time to be on the show. It really means a lot. Can you share something about your latest project, the Vault 369? I've got the website up here. Has this already launched, or are you pulling the last loose ends together? Where are you with this, and what is it?
So Vault 369 is a stablecoin protocol on Pulsechain. It's a liquidity fork, like some of the other liquidity forks that we have, except for it's customized specifically for Pulsechain and avoided some of the pitfalls that we found in some of the other ones. I'm behind Ink Printer as well, which is the liquidity fork where you take a loan out against your ink in the form of a stablecoin. Now with Vault 369, it's a multi-collateral liquidity fork. So you'll be able to take a loan out against Pulse, against vPulse and uPulse that I just mentioned, which is a great way to double dip, in my opinion, not financial advice. As well, on day one of the launch, ProveX will be available as a collateral type. So it'll be the stablecoin on Pulsechain that allows you to take a loan out against your ProveX, which liquidity-wise is one of our stronger tokens right now, and I think will probably continue to be.
What is the difference then to something like liquid loans?
Yep.
Are there like identifiable major?
That's the Voldemort to mention, by the way.
No comment. Yeah. Liquid Loans was the first liquidity fork on Pulsechain.
Yes.
Generally speaking, it works well, right? And it used Pulse as collateral, which at the time was our deepest liquidity product. So, you know, that which for a liquidity fork, like, you know, you can't use $1,000 liquidity meme coin as collateral for a stable coin, whereas, you know, something like Pulse you can. So, you know, they've moved through like a lot of funds have been held in there. It gives people an option to take a loan out against their Pulse instead of selling. We're providing the exact same option there with Vault 369. However, you also have the option to take a loan out against vPulse and uPulse, which by nature of what it is, like these are liquid staked Pulse. It means they increase in value every day, every minute versus the price of Pulse. So you could get your own vPulse or get your own uPulse, or actually via our front end with vPulse, you can actually mint it right in the front end. So you'll be able to take in, you know, like I have $1,000 worth of Pulse. I want to deposit it as vPulse so that I'm earning, you know, like on my deposit automatically, because vPulse will always increase in price versus Pulse, as will uPulse, because it's running validators in the background that are constantly propping up the price. So people have an option to do that automatically via the front end with vPulse. With uPulse, they have to do it via that protocol because there's a 48-hour delay on minting, which is fine. And so we'll provide an option for people to basically double dip on their Pulse loan. You take a loan against your Pulse and earn more against what you've loaned against than you would using something like liquid loans. Then of course we'll have ProveX as an additional option, so which is great. So, and then we get into some more technical stuff. So on a technical side, the biggest argument usually with liquidity forks on Pulsechain and other places has been against redemption. A lot of people will call it liquidation, like, oh no, I've been liquidated, but very few people actually get liquidated, which is when, you know, the value of your vault is less than the value of what you're borrowed. Basically, you get liquidated, you know, which is, you know, largely neutral for most people. You might lose 10% on something like that, but most people don't get liquidated if they understand what they're doing. But more people get redeemed against, which is when the price of the stable coin falls below $1, right? Which allows for the stable coin to be redeemed for the underlying asset by users, meaning that you could take $1 worth of USDL, which is the liquid loan stable coin, and redeem it for $1 worth of Pulse, right? So that causes people to buy it up off the market for 97 cents, redeem it for $1 worth of Pulse, and they get to keep the difference. So it's part of the process, and it's probably the best way to peg a stable coin. However, it tends to get abused. Have you guys heard about any peg abuse regarding liquidity forks?
Peg abuse, I think, is what they got in London, right?
The
I've heard about it more in Germany,
strategy.
but yeah, probably London.
Germany, yeah, Germany too, yeah.
Yeah.
7-1 against Curacao. It was a great game.
But the abuse comes in when people use it for what it's not
mint.
intended for, right? Yeah. So they'll use it as a way to buy without slippage,
yes,
right? Or a way to so because you could go buy $1,000 worth of stable coin, redeem it for $1,000 worth of pulse if that slippage is lower than what you'd pay buying, and it's usually not 1,000; it's usually 50,000 or a big number. Then it can be beneficial, and there's an arbitrage opportunity there on occasion. So we've taken steps to correct that so that it's not going to be an option where a bot can be set up to practice something like that, or even a regular person won't be able to redeem rather than buy, Pulse or ProveX or VPulse, any of the underlying assets, and use that as an arbitrage point. So
I have a question though. The VUSD, so that is a new Pulsechain native stablecoin, right? That you're bringing about. And my pet peeve with liquid loans has always been being a day one sacrificer.
Yes.
Sure. Day one liquid loans staker. I'm actually benefiting off these liquidations lately because they're at the bottoms now. There people are, because they have forgotten that they had a loan or whatever. I'm actually making quite some pulls there, which is really nice. But my beef with them was always, and I tried to argue this with them in their Telegram and on their X, they would never give me a real answer. Their sacrifice at the time was like $50 million US, and they received that money because you could only
stable coins, only
sacrifice stable coins.
Yeah,
and it, with all the other projects that received HEX and whatever, if they didn't sell, then that SAC value is gone. But with them, that's not the case. And then providing the liquidity is always the argument. And they are saying, no, we're not providing liquidity against the loan token because people would just dump it. But I'm actually not talking about it. I'm not understanding why they don't use some of that money, 10% of that, 5 to 10 million, to fund the USDL stablecoin, and then Pulsechain would actually have its own native stablecoin. The funds are there. How do you intend with VUSD to bring that about, or is it only as liquid as people are using the protocol?
Well, I intend to use the entire sacrifice funds that I received for Vault 369 to fund the VUSD. So there's that.
So this is a sacrifice.
So there was a sacrifice.
No, there wasn't a sacrifice. I have 0 sacrifice funds. It was completely done out of my pocket. Yeah.
Oh, so you're sacrificing for yourself. Okay.
Indeed. So
nice.
People will be incentivized to provide liquidity. Now, another big difference, and we're getting a little on the technical side. So, everybody, do due diligence, come in the Telegram room, ask some questions, watch out for scammers, all that stuff.
Yes.
But like Vault 369 is set up in such a way to incentivize people automatically to provide liquidity for the stablecoin, and not on a short-term basis. So with other liquidity forks to date, they all had like a farming incentive early on for people to add liquidity for the stablecoin versus, another stablecoin like DAI or USDC, etc., right? Which is a reasonable way to do it, but they were short term, right? Sometimes I think liquid loans was pretty short term. They were the first. I can't remember the timeline, but it was something like 3 months or less, like maybe 12 weeks. They had a farming option for LUSD. Which is, or USDL. There we go. My bad. So that once that farming option ran out, there was less incentive for people to provide liquidity. There still was an option to stake the stablecoin directly in the protocol, for which you get some of the yield token, and you get some of the part of the liquidations when they happen. So that incentive is still there, but it's not as good, in my opinion. You need some of that for sure, but it's not as good as it's sitting in liquidity for overall productivity, right? So with Vault 369, what we've done is we've combined those processes. So instead of people depositing the stablecoin in the protocol so they can get a piece of the liquidations and earn some Vault tokens, the option is to deposit a liquidity token into the stability pool, right? So you can deposit either BUSD DAI or BUSD USDC. There's two options, and you put that right into the protocol, and it's not a time limit thing. That's just how the protocol is made to work, right? So people will be able to earn three different ways. So you're automatically earning on stable to stable liquidity that you're providing, right? Which will be on PulseX, which is great. Then on top of that, you earn a piece of liquidations. Then on top of that, you're earning the vault token for doing it. So, they'll have, a bunch of incentives to do that like perpetually rather than for just 3 months or 6 months. Or I think with Vault, with Ink Printer, I stretched it to 1 year. But like after that year, there's less incentive to provide liquidity, right? So with Vault 369, the incentive will be there, for as long as the protocol is around. And it's meant to be around for a long time.
Awesome. No, but
hey, this is all cool stuff. But DJ, we got Toby in the green room or no?
No.
What?
No, we can talk more about Vault 369.
Wow. but Toby said he'd be here.
We have FastAbdoul's marketing here.
Yeah, but I want to see the charts too.
No, but in closing on that, I think it's great that there is more stable coin because the PDAI fam has been out again lately, shilling their new strategy. And there's actually one argument, a general argument that they have that I could actually get behind is
What's
that?
Let me ruin it for you.
Okay. Let me
tell me what it is first, and then I'll ruin it.
Put it out there. Exactly. They say that there is need on Pulsechain for a generic and our own Pulsechain native stablecoin because all the value that is currently backing everything that we have on Pulsechain is bridged in USDC. It's bridged in DAI. It's bridged in Wrap Bitcoin, bridged in Ethereum. And it would be better, I guess, if, we could make that liquidity happen by ourselves in a native way. That is kind of, I think, is actually a good point. But how they are trying to get there is where the stupidity comes in.
We already have 4 native stablecoins on Pulsechain, that are backed by Richard Hart assets. We already have that. So that, like, for one, like, to start the argument, we don't need it because we already have it. And like, I'm talking about a 5th right now, right? And there could be more in the future. So like very shortly, we could say that we're going to have 5 native stablecoins on Pulsechain, all backed one way or another by Richard Hart assets. And then as far as PDAI goes, like, there's no code at the state of it right now, which can't change. There is no code. There is no way to peg it. You could make it go to $100. You can make it go to $1. There's no reasonable way to keep it there. And it would cost billions of dollars to get it there. So like, sorry guys, this is not the answer, both in technical realities and in the actual need. The need has been fulfilled and continues to be fulfilled. And on the technical side, like, PDAI is a meme coin right now. Like there's no way to change that. It's been turned off. Like the DAO behind it is turned off and can never be turned back on. Somebody could launch a fork of, MakerDAO on Pulsechain, which has actually already been done. I'm not quite sure how that one's going. I haven't been following it. It's I think a smaller group involved. But PDAI itself, the one that people are holding, it can never be pegged at $1. It's impossible.
Right. So one thing that could happen though is, as we saw this week, that Tether, didn't get the agreement, the MiCA thing that has now been imposed in Europe as a stablecoin regulation. And now the exchanges, if they have European customers, can no longer use USDT for those. So USDC, which has provided all the necessary paperwork, is now the winner in this. But, with these kind of moves, I technically can see a bit of a danger with the bridged in assets, if more stories like this emerge. Wouldn't you agree?
Okay, well, there's a couple of variables on that. So when we're talking about bridged in stable coins, right? So USDT, DAI, USDT being the big three. Now,
and
first off,
I'm not a PDI fan. I'm probably the most vocal anti-PDI person that is on Pulse. I'm just saying, I'm just playing nice here.
Yeah, I think PDI is a great narrative, and you know, it's fun. You know, have fun with that. But like, yeah, I won't answer a technical question about it falsely, and that it is what I said it is.
No,
but as far as bridged assets goes, like they're actually safer on Pulsechain than not on Pulsechain, by and large, in my opinion. And the reason for that is like something that's bridged from another chain, any freeze or take back functions won't work, right? So with DAI, does not have those functions. So DAI is, you know, generally safe. I think that's why Richard held most of his stables in DAI to our knowledge, right? But with USDC and USDT, I believe there are some options for freezing and blacklisting of wallets, etc. But like if you have bridged USDC and you have bridged USDT on Pulsechain, while on Pulsechain, like none of those things apply. Like that code doesn't work. So you could, you know, have it on Pulsechain, bridge it out to a different wallet on Ethereum, and there wouldn't be a particular way that would be followed, or that, you know, that would be an issue for you. The only danger with bridged assets versus native assets is if something happens to the bridge. So that is the main concern. So which is kind of a red herring in that, like, yeah, it's this big target, but it's like the bridge that we use is pretty safe. There hasn't been a major issue. I don't believe there will be a major issue. So it's like, for people who are moving tens of millions of dollars, I think it's a valid concern. I'm not worried about my $7.50 I just bridged on. I think it'll be fine.
Good for you.
That's a lot, man.
That's
Thank
a
you.
lot these days. It's 100 million pulls.
But the native stablecoins do address that problem directly, right? Like, you know, like our 4 native stablecoins, soon to be 5 native stablecoins, like means that they're not reliant on bridged assets. So, you know, if the bridge got hacked, like all the liquidity forks that I know of should still remain $1. There might be a dip in the price if people freak out, but they will, by nature of how they work, they will go back to $1. So, you know, yeah, we need those stable assets. But like any argument that we don't have them that doesn't really make sense.
No, I don't have them in my portfolio.
Oh yeah.
That's their complaint. I need more.
Yeah. Well, I invite you to check out Vault 369, sir. You can
So what's
collateralize
what's the timeline? Can
multiple
people play with that already, or where are you with this?
If they go to the website, they can basically see a demo right now. So
Okay.
I'm not going to give exact
Yeah, no expectations and all that.
details on the deployment, but we did finish our audit. The Build the Tech team, headed by Brandon, also known as Rags to Riches. They did the audit for us, and I publicized that audit. So we've corrected any of the little things that were potentially wrong, which I won't get into the technicals there, but I feel pretty good about it now. And so happy with their service. I'd recommend them to anybody. And then now we're working on deployment, right? So it's a multi-contract, complicated protocol. It will take as much time as it takes, you know, and we're going to do final testing. But like, I could say that it's nigh. It's going to happen pretty soon. And people can prepare by, you know, checking it out, you know, going through the website, joining the Telegram, making sure they're informed. And then the token is already live. So we pre-launched the token. It was actually launched on Pump.Tires. So the Vault token has been around for a while. It's already done its up and down, which is what I wanted it to do. So I don't think we're going to have the same kind of chart as we've seen on other liquidity protocols, because there's already been that speculation that's come and gone. So, you know, when the protocol launches, those Vault tokens will suddenly have utility they did not have up till now. They'll be able to earn fees from the protocol. They'll be able to earn all the tokens that are part of the collateral. You know, they'll be probably the best place to earn ProveX, right? Will be staking Vault tokens. So, and then another difference.
But it's probably, you're very right. You want to launch something at the bottom, I guess, because if it's only blue skies going forward from here, which we all hope, then all these coins should look a lot better.
Exactly.
Than they launched now.
And I was actually pretty happy to launch it on pumped up tires. Reason being that, you know, like it has liquidity against Pulse forever.
Exactly.
Yep. So there's always going to be that liquidity there. It's not as thick a liquidity as when I launched it, unfortunately, just because it's like price wise.
Yeah.
But
Shout out to Conrad.
It's still there and it's substantial.
Yeah. So awesome. All right, we're 1 hour in. Papa B, any last words? Any Canadian? Is Canada in the World Cup?
They are. I don't believe we're scheduled to win the World Cup. But
scheduled.
But has the first game already happened? I'm sadly not in the loop as much. I only follow the Germany.
I got TSN for my boys because they're interested, but honestly, I'm not a big follower. I only watch sports that I'm participating in myself, typically.
Yep, same here.
But it's the #1 sport in the world, and we call it football, and the Americans call it soccer. So
yeah, I haven't played soccer since I was 9, which is where it belongs.
Soccer moms.
No, I'm strictly recreational violence. That's my only thing.
No, fair enough.
Nice.
Hex and S says they start their second match in an hour from now. Okay, there you go.
Okay,
so
good to know.
There you go. Tune in.
Let's root for Canada. Canadian, hey. They're so fucking
nice. Maple syrup.
I don't have much maple syrup where I am, actually, but like I do have, like, you know, lots of beavers and muskrats and, you know, bears and stuff. So, you know, we all have our own flavors.
Nice.
Beavers
we had a nice
and
comment here
muskrats and bears. Oh my.
From Hexcavator. He says, "When pump, eh?"
Yep. Hey, DJ, we can't look at the charts at all. Maybe a FastAbdoul can give us some insight if we bring him up in like 30 seconds on the way out.
I have my pleb chart here. I mean,
yeah, bring it up, and Fast can say it's up or down, whatever.
All right.
What are we
because we have no Toby today.
Let's have a look. So this was SpaceX. So SpaceX, I don't know.
Yeah, fuck SpaceX.
Fuck SpaceX. Okay. Bitcoin.
Wait for the pullback.
This is Bitcoin. A weekly chart on Bitcoin, the OG coin. So we are right bang on the 200-week moving average. I think the RSI has leveled out bearish, so this can go either way. Of course, the Ivan on Techs of the world, they say we make new lows and we go down to 40K in the next quarter. But Toby and myself, we just don't see that. We beg to differ.
Oh, really?
Because this is the production price, electronics-wise, of one Bitcoin that is being mined, and Bitcoin has rarely traded below that. Of course, this is crypto. Anything can happen. But even if it wicks down, you know, I think we'll see a quick recovery to
what do you think? What do you think?
The levels where we're currently at. FastAbdoul.
Well, I think when you look at the flux capacitor and the variables, that like there's definitely potential
that'll be down
for like
here.
An up or a down.
Yeah, up or down. Awesome.
Yeah,
Ethereum.
Go up or down.
This is Ethereum's the daily chart. It has had a nice breakout from the lows, now retraced back to the middle Bollinger Band. I sound like the weatherman here, but the trajectory on the MACD is still very bullish. So I think this looks even more positive than Bitcoin. But it's again retraced back down to 1,700. Gold is
fuck gold. Come on.
Gold dumped all the way down to 4,000. That for Canada is a big thing, right? Because you have the gold industry up in what's it called? That creek.
Gold Creek.
Dawson's Creek.
Dawson's Creek. Yeah.
What's the main river?
We got lots of creeks. We got lots of other stuff too. The biggest thing where I am is actually uranium. We got a ton of uranium.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
Silver, same thing, but gold oil is like, damn, as soon as that, you know, that news of the brokered peace deal with Iran broke.
Why are we looking at commodities
Oil
when
has
we're
dropped.
dealing in crypto?
Because I don't
me
have
have-
crypto here. S&P 500 bullish, and the Dow Jones is bullish. What's not to like?
Well, there you
So,
go.
There we go,
Interest
you
rate
guys.
stable, and it could even be raised, but we could pump in a raising of interest rates market like so many opines in our intro.
In the intro, Europe has actually raised the fucking interest rate on
So
Monday.
has Japan,
So there you
yes.
go. Yes, so has Japan. Nice. Well, FastAbdoul, thank you so much for coming on the show. Thanks everybody
pleasure,
for
guys.
watching. Where are we at in terms of viewers? Oh, we dropped viewers. Okay, so that's
Shit's Creek. that was a good one.
no, it's not true. We have
Check that
130 people watching live right now. So
What?
we really appreciate that. Thanks, everybody. Please follow the channel. Make sure to follow at FastAbdoul on the X. Link is in the description. The new project is called vault369.com. Correct?
Not Voldemort.
That's right.
Anything else we need to show, FastAbdoul? The Canadian
think-
well, build yourself
It's-
one.
It's always good just to remind people that there's lots of scammers out there. None
Yes.
of us are going to send you a private message and offer you special opportunities. Always assume any DM is a scammer until you know otherwise. And yeah, everybody stay safe.
Thanks, FastAbdoul, for showing up for us. And don't be a stranger. Come on back, you hear?
You bet. Yeah, I better run now, guys, because it's now raining.
Oh,
You got the runs
Take
too?
care.
Awesome.
Yukon. That's
fell
it.
apart, but-
Brazology saved me. The Yukon River. That's what I was talking
The
about.
Yukon.
That's where the
There we go.
gold is. There you go. All right,
All right.
you guys. Thanks for watching, everybody.
You
Smash
guys
the
is-
likes, and we see you on the next one. Outro.